there's a little button on here to sync that, and it seems to be
not following me. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's try that one more time. Take this off. Thanks. Sorry about that.
You're all good?
I thought I had it all set.
You're all good. Let me know when we're ready. Let's find the fastest.
Maybe.
There we go. Now it's picking me up.
Okay. There we go.
We're live? What fun.
Is that recording?
It's recording.
Oh, what fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started with our next section. I'd like to introduce Christine Odle. She talks about financial stress and is an author, leads to dangerous distractions in the workplace. She works with people in all walks of life to build actionable game plans to remove financial distress by creating useful cash flow plans, debt elimination, saving, and planning for retirement. Her systems are easy to follow and results are quickly obtained. We need to learn how to make our money behave so that we can sleep well at night and be alert while driving. In this session, we'll break down the barriers to financial distractions and give some easy to implement financial strategies to help you feel less stressed and distracted by financial issues. This is I'm excited about this session because it's unique. We haven't provided one like this before at the conference. So, Christine, thank you for joining us, and we will turn the time over to you.
Thank you. All right, who's ready? We're going to learn how to stretch our money. You guys ready? Okay. We're going to assume I know technology. Can everybody hear me? Cool. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to zip through some statistics, some interesting information, and then we're going to turn the focus on you. So a lot of the times your training is how you help your passengers and help drivers. Okay, I want to be on your train. I like trains. If, as we're going through this, you say, I want my manager to know that, let me know, because I get managers tomorrow. So just let me know if there's something you want. I also did not bring enough flyers. I apologize. If anybody wants a full-on workbook, they're welcome to them. We'll be on page 9 through 12. So if you guys want a workbook and you didn't get a flyer or a handout, then come grab a workbook because I've got them. Okay, so we're going to learn how to stretch our money, and we're going to figure out what's wrong with finances in this country and why we're driven to distraction. Ready? How many of you guys feel like this on Monday morning? Or whatever day your Monday is? This actually came out of a financial workbook, one of the first ones I ever saw. And people are this way on Mondays because they are stressed about finances. Not because they hate their jobs, but because they're wondering if their jobs are paying them enough to do the things that they want to do in life. Oh, right here. Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so how does financial distress affect us? Does anybody say 100% of our lives? How many of you guys talk about finances at work? Like all of us. I'm guilty. Of course, I do it for a living, but I'm still guilty. Okay, so we don't sleep at night. So how many people do you think are in the room? 40 people, 50 people in the room? 4 of you stand up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys are listening, and I heard you because you slept last night. The rest of you didn't sleep. So how are you feeling when you get in your buses if you didn't sleep because you were worried about something? This is how serious this is in our country, and this is why I teach this, is that we are not sleeping at night. I honestly, 2 o'clock last night, because I really wanted to make sure that you guys had fun in my 55 minutes of fame and that you learned something. So I didn't sleep last night, but that's okay. 92% of us don't sleep, and only 85% of us are worried. So some of you I'm worried about because you're not worrying, but that's okay too. Financial distress. Oh yeah, stole my phone. Great. I never would have noticed. Muscle tension and back pain. How many of us are sitting on a bus all day long? I know I just drove a Mercedes Sprinter van from Idaho Falls to St. George a couple days ago. My back hurt. You guys have that? Back pain is also a symptom of financial distress. Who knew? We get headaches and migraines because we're stressed about money. Are we deciding that this does affect our safety? Driving in a Sprinter van, by the way, down I-15 for 9 hours. It's really a 6-hour drive, but I have dogs and a husband. You have no idea how many times I turned and looked at the driver next to me and saw them on their phones. Used to be that phones were only like a 25% problem, but now it's such a huge problem. Anytime we saw a truck or a car veering off to the side of the road, 100% of those drivers had a cell phone in their hands. That's kind of scary. What are we looking up that we have to be focused on our drive? The statistics actually show that we're looking at our bank accounts. People who are crashing with their phones on are not playing games, they're looking at their bank accounts. It's crazy. So, just in case you're wondering, the top 10 reasons why we crash: distraction, 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 distraction. Only a couple of reasons why we crash is because there's something wrong with our car. I've seen wheels fly off and go across the highway, so that's pretty scary. Pedestrians or cyclists like walking in front of us, okay. But for the most part, we're just distracted. So we want to blame it on the teenagers? Yeah. I saw one today in a Camaro. That was pretty scary. Camaro cut me off in my little Zoom Zoom car. Pretty scary. Parents, how many of us race to school, drop off our kids so we can race to work? They're scary too. Business owners, seniors, truck drivers, we can blame everybody, but if you're holding your cell phone, you're the scariest, just in case you were wondering. And if you ask a first responder, and I have several friends that are first responders, you think it's the cell phone that's the cause of what's going on. First responders will ask the accident victims what happened. They're like, I don't know, I lost track of what I was doing. I was distracted. What were you thinking about? Money. 62% of first responders say they're distracted because they're worried about money. So money is a huge, massive deal in this country because we are not like third world countries. In third world countries, we're worried about food and if we have a roof over our head. In this country, we worry about everything because everything has to do with money. We have to have insurances. We have to have a place to live, which comes with not just a house payment, but utilities, taxes, insurance. Insurance is another animal. We've got lots of animals on top of animals when we're talking about money. So we're distracted. Would you say I'm right? Yes. Oh, good. I like that. All right. So here's the other part of it. 76% of us, even those of us with supposedly lots of money, and I love it when people try to compare themselves to others, so never try to compare yourself to others. Recently, I was at an event with a whole bunch of friends of mine from college, and one of my friends said about another friend, oh, don't worry about them, they have lots of money. Well, guess who everybody talks to about their money? And my first response was, you don't know what you're talking about, honey. They don't have lots of money. They just look like they have lots of money. They have lots of debt that goes on with that lots of money. And it was a very uncomfortable situation. But because I do what I do, I can't tell them, oh, hey, you're wrong. I just have to say, uh-huh, and listen. Otherwise, I'd lose my job multiple times, right? So we are living paycheck to paycheck. Wealthy people and poor people are living paycheck to paycheck. What I'm going to teach you today is, this is paycheck to paycheck by accident. Today, I'm going to teach you how to do it on purpose, so you have freedom and not fear. Okay? I'm not even going to ask you to answer this question. I'm not having 3 out of 7 of you stand up. But so many people have nothing put aside for emergencies. They tell me, oh, that's what my credit card is for. I'm like, uh-huh. The one that's maxed out? That's not very helpful if you have an emergency. So I just want you to emotionally think of, what if I had $1,000 to $10,000 sitting in a savings account just in case I got a flat tire? What if I had $10,000 just in case my kid tripped over his own 2 feet and broke his arm? What if? if you could change how you feel emotionally because you have some money sitting in a bank account, what if? The first time I heard this, I was like, oh, well, I've always kept $100 in my bank account. You mean I have to have 1,000? Oh my, how am I going to do that? And then I learned that how powerful an emergency fund is. So about 5 years into our journey of paying off debt, and we were $500,000 in debt when I woke up, is I realized that I had to have an emergency fund for the emergency fund for the emergency fund. So I ended up with 3 emergency funds. Any idea why? 1 for personal and 1 for each of our businesses. But it was so freeing to know that I had money set aside for what if. The reason we have no savings is we dip into our savings all the time. So one of the things I want you to remember, savings. We move money into savings for a reason. So I hear this all the time. We put our money into savings and we're like, I'm not going to touch that. I'm like, well, what'd you put it in there for? It's just for savings. No, you cannot put money just into savings. You have to put it into savings and say, this is your job in the savings account. If we're saving for a new car and it's time to go get a new car, you go to the savings account, and if you only have $2,000, you're only getting a $2,000 car. If you have $40,000, you can get a $40,000 car. But you have to tell your money in savings what its job is there, otherwise it goes to other things. So if it's there for emergencies, then it better be an emergency. Define emergency. It's not what we call a BBD. Any idea what a BBD is? Bigger, badder deal. It's not for that. It's actually for emergencies. So define what emergency is in your life. What would completely destruct your finances, that's an emergency. Put the money in there, that's what we're going to take it out for. Okay? All right. I think this is a little low. This was a ChatGPT question. 50% of us don't understand finances. I do this for a living, and they just changed the tax code by 940 pages. I don't know enough. Okay? So, yes, I see because here. Yes, the OBBBA tax bill is 940 pages. So, we don't understand basic finances, so we have to go back to basic. I can just tell you what basic finances is every day we go to work, and every day we get a pay, every week or 2 weeks we get a check, and we have to define what we do with that money. Okay? So we think that we're going to get trained in school. How many thought that they were going to get trained about finances in school? We send our little people, they're 5. This is September. How many of you sent a little person off to kindergarten this year, or first grade, or second grade, or third grade, or fourth grade? And we sent them off to school. They're going to learn how to do what? We're going to learn how to budget our money. No, not in school. We're going to learn how to read, hopefully. We're going to learn how to write, hopefully. We're going to learn basic math, hopefully. 91% of teachers nationwide are obligated to teach personal finance, and 91% of them say, how do we do that? So they deflect back to courses, companies like Jumpstart, which is 100% funded by Visa. Visa's product, we're not supposed to sell our products here, but Visa's product is debt. So we're teaching our children how to manage money by following somebody whose main product is debt. This is scary. Okay. And financial chaos. Ready to change it? Okay. Is there a cure? Yes. Yes. Financial education, that's what we're going to do for you today. Ready? So, your books. Anybody not get a handout and want a workbook? Page 9. I'm going to just send these back. I apologize. The person that I was talking to said there might be 30 of you and there's more, and I'm so excited. Incidentally, if you get one of these, and I'm not selling anything, but if you get one of these, take one to your manager and show them to your manager. There's multiple people out there, not just me, who teach personal finance in the workplace. It's very, very powerful, and it's helpful for safety. Okay. I know you don't get to collect more than one of them. Okay. I have managers tomorrow. Don't forget, I have managers tomorrow. So we'll still need workbooks for them too. All right. Are you ready to be educated on finances? This is one of my favorite classes because it's one of the when we were $500,000 in debt, it is the one class that turned my brain around on how to manage money. It is the number one thing that helped me do our money better. And it helped me be less stressed. Okay. We have to take an active role. How many of us make money? And how many of us put the money in our bank account? Is there anybody in here that solely works on cash? Because that does happen very rarely in this country. We are about 20% unbanked still in the United States. So when I walk into a business and they only accept plastic, I walk out because I feel bad for the people that really don't have bank accounts. So I walk out if they won't take my paper money. And there's a few businesses here in St. George, by the way, that don't get my business because they won't take paper money. I'm out. So if we take an active role in this, we get more money in savings, we get less debt, and we get more money in retirement, which is the most fun. More money in retirement helps us create what I call generational wealth. The more we learn how to save for ourselves, the more we can teach the people in our lives to also save for themselves, and then ultimately get some generational wealth. Okay? All right, page 9. We are, oh dear, I hate this one. I have to put this one up here because I am not great at fitness. This slide is for me, not for you. This is to remind me that I can do a budget, but I need to get to the gym. But anytime we learn something new, it's something we say, oh, that's really hard. Oh, that's really scary. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Oh, I don't really want to do that. But if we get up every day and we intentionally do something to do with our finances, guess what starts happening? If we do it with fitness, every day we start out and we stretch and we do our little arm raises and we do our little leg lifts and everything. Eventually we grow a little bit of muscle. Same thing happens with our brains. If we every day we say this is our money and this is what we want to do with our money as we go out in the world today, then guess what happens? Our money starts behaving. But if we walk out the door with our little plastic, and I gave you a little wristbands that say no swiping. We walk out with our little plastic and we don't have a plan, guess what happens? Visa gets 3% of our money every single time we swipe. I'm not a fan of, this one's MasterCard. I'm not really a fan of Visa or MasterCard because every time you swipe, whoever you give your money to, here's an example. If I take $100, who wants to be my volunteer? I'll make this even more fun. Come on up here. Where's, hang on. Huh? I have 20s. I looked in my wallet this morning. I didn't have hundreds, but I have 20s. All right, we'll take some 20s. Come on up. I'll give you $20. You have to stand here and you have to play my game. Okay. So I say, I'm going to give you $20, and you're going to tell me where you're going to spend it in the room today.
Wait. This room right now?
Yeah, this room right now. These people right here. You're going to spend $20 here.
Do I have to spend the money?
Yeah. It's part of the deal.
I think I will get food and something to drink.
In the room? Do you have food and drink in the room? Does anybody want him to spend money with them? Does anybody want another $20? Lady in the back, I'm going to say this. Who can help me? I need a hand, hold that. No, you need your hands. All right, we're gonna hold this. So, put your hand like this. Like this. Like this. Directions. Okay. So, ooh. What happened? He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for this money. But now I'm going to tell you, you're going to take this, and you're going to walk down there to that young lady down there, and you're going to give her the $20.
Okay.
And you're thinking, what's in it for me, aren't you? I'll show you in a minute. So, put your hand like this. On the count of 3, I'm going to drop the money, you're going to catch it, and you're going to take it to that lady. I didn't say 3 yet. 1, 2, 3. What just happened? We have a plan. Before, we had no plan. It went to the floor. Thank you. You can take that 20, it's back to her, come back to me, and when you're done. So what just happened? We had a plan with our money. When we had no plan, it just fell on the floor. When we have no plan, when we walk out the door to spend money, it just falls on the floor. But because we had a plan to give away the money, which we did so kindly, somebody else gets a gift, we give the gift back to the giver. And now he gets his $20 too. And guess what? I had a plan with my money when I walked out the door today. I had planned to give some away, and it feels good. If it just slips through your fingers and it just lands somewhere else, it doesn't feel so good. The other thing is when you just gave her $20, how much money does she have?
I don't know. She got 20 now.
Yeah, she's got 20 now. If you'd used this and given her $20, you would have had to take 3% of that money out of her hand and sent it to Visa. So she would have less than $20. And then when she uses Visa, she's going to send the next person 3% less money. When you use paper money will always transfer the same value. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, thank you. No, it's yours. Happy birthday. That was way too much fun. I just love giving out money. Okay, so we have to be intentional about this and we have to not give up. What happens at the gym? How many of us had a New Year's resolution January 1st to go to the gym, and how many of us made it by January 31st? Yeah, I know. I fall into this one too. So what has to happen is you have to get up February 1st and say, I'm going to do it again and again and again until you get it done. You just have to not give up. That's really, really important. Okay, so emergency fund we talked about a little bit. I want to just go back to emergency fund for a second. An emergency fund, and now this is in your workbook, so I'm going to see if anybody has the answer to what are we setting money aside for? What's an emergency? Do we know we're going to walk out the door, jump on our bus, bounce out of our bus because we're so happy, and we're going to trip and break our toenail? Do we know that's going to happen every day? Not necessarily an emergency, but it's what? Unplanned. So an emergency fund is for unplanned circumstances. So write that down, unplanned. Otherwise, we'd be running around saying we're planning to fall down off our bus and we're going to break our arm. We're not planning to do that. We're not planning emergencies at all. Here's the thing I know about emergency funds, by the way. When you have one, you'll almost never use it because emergencies stop happening. It's called Murphy repellent. Murphy's Law does not apply when we're planning for Murphy. Murphy doesn't have any fun that way, so he just moves out. So your emergency fund sticks around for a long time. People are worried, oh, I'm going to use it every day. You're not. You'll find another way to pay for unexpected things because things will become more expected. All right. Do you think they looked in the rearview mirror before backing up? I'm going to blame the SUV for this one. I'm just saying. So what we try to do with budgeting is we try to look back the previous month. So there are pros and cons to that. If we're doing our very, very first budget and we're looking backwards, what's wrong? A lot of times we have no idea what we did last month because we weren't doing it anyway. So we have no idea on our first budget what happened last month. The other thing I know in St. George and Utah in August, it's really stinking hot most of the state unless you're up high. Even Park City, I see Park City shirts. Even Park City is hot. So in August, when it's super stinking hot, what happens in September? Cools down, windows open. What happens to our AC bill? Goes down. So if we're looking at August to do our September billing, does it always work? No. If we're looking at November, which is Thanksgiving, and we have Christmas in December, we're looking backwards to November. Is Christmas in November? Not unless they moved it. So if we're looking at November for our budget to do our December budget, it's not always useful. Some things are going to stay the same, but not everything. So we want to be as proactive as possible. We want to look forward and say, what is happening for the rest of the month of September that I need to plan my money for? And then what is happening in October? This is when we go to the grocery store and we buy a bunch of sugar. So we need to plan for the sugar in October, right? The end of the month for the trick-or-treaters. So we were just trying to look forward, what's coming, and that's the most effective way to do budgeting, as opposed to trying to figure out what we did, which might not have been as well planned. Okay? So, simple. This is the easiest way I knew how to do budgeting. We go to all of our sources of income, This is not the savings account. Remember, the savings account is over there doing its job. So we're not, just because we have money in the bank might not be your source of income. But all of our sources of income, some of us have side projects, we have spouses, we might have 2 jobs, all of our sources of income, and list how much money you're going to get in your paycheck. Not the gross, by the way, because the government swoops in and takes out their share. Insurance gets their share. Retirement hopefully gets their share. What we want is the take-home pay. So you have to actually look at your pay stub and say, what am I bringing home to my bank account? And then how can I plan it? Okay? So you add up all your sources of income, and then I'm going to teach you exactly how to do spending. Ready? Reasonable. Just had a lot of comments about reasonable. Okay, reasonable. Number 1. So go to the second page of your little handout in your workbook. It's page 11 and 12. You'll see that I've perfectly laid out budgetary items. But because of technology, I cannot put this in order. So you're going to grab your pens right now, and you're going to put a number 1 next to food. If you manage your finances in the order I tell you today, your finances will start working by month 2 or 3, no matter what. I've tested this on thousands of people, and it works every single time. So number 1 is food. If we don't eat well, how do we feel? Sluggish. We're a safety issue on our bus. We're eating too much sugar. Might be cheap, but it's not good for us. So food. Healthy, healthy food. And I can tell you this from experience because I used to buy soda pop by the case. Sam's Club was 2.5 hours away from where I was living, and I would take my pickup truck and buy cases. I was a completely addicted human being to soda pop, and I felt sluggish, had no energy. It was a bad deal. What I found out is if I just buy a filter for my refrigerator, I can drink really good water. Much less money, I don't have to drive 2.5 hours to get it. But it became healthy. So if you're grocery shopping, the healthiest food is on the outside of the store. Everything on the inside, forget it. You don't need any of that. Boxes, cans, forget it. If you start eating on the outside of the store, you know what happens almost immediately? Any ideas? Your food budget goes down. Almost immediately. Because when you're eating really good, healthy food, you do not need as much of it when you're buying the cheap stuff out of the box. I did not know that when I first started that. So, that's why we have VeggieTales and fresh bread. Okay? So in your book, real quick, every place that you buy food, put a number 1, because I want you to eat food. Really good, delicious stuff. And by the way, farmer's market, oh my gosh, great way to get inexpensive, delicious food. And there's lots of them in Utah. Okay? All right, number 2, housing. Now, everybody gets housing backwards. So I want you to start with utilities. Water, gas, electricity. Start with utilities. Any idea why I would tell you to do your utilities before your house payment or your rent?
Because your house payment's fixed, like your utilities are.
No, because they'll turn off your utilities before they'll take your house or kick you out. So keep your lights on, keep the heat on, keep the AC on reasonably, open windows when possible, but they will turn off your utilities in 60 days when late. It takes them 6 months to evict you or to take your house in a foreclosure. So I want you to focus on important stuff first. So some people have tons and tons of money, and some people only have a little money, but you still pay your utilities first, okay? Then you make your house payment. And by the way, reasonable housing is really important. My niece, it's the reason I was in Idaho Falls, she and her husband were just qualified for a $600,000 house. Cool, right? Mortgage company thinks that's awesome, that we should be qualified for a $600,000 house. Fortunately, she's been listening to me her whole life, and she and her husband decided to go smaller. So they just paid for a $375,000 house, which is a great stepping stone for a first home. But it's not going to immediately throw them into a deep debt. It puts them in something reasonable so that they can build other parts of their life, including their little family that's growing. Okay? So reasonable housing, and yes, that is a real house, by the way. It's in the Netherlands. It was used for a TV show. All right, the next thing. Number 2s are in there. 2B is the house payment or the rent. So if you do it my way, does rent ever not get paid? This is one of the things I run into the most when I'm talking with people who are struggling financially. Their house payment is behind and their rent is behind because they put it at the bottom, because it's the big bill. So we want to move that back up to the top. So if all you're doing in life is feeding yourself and housing yourself, can you make it to the next day? 90% of the time. God bless you. Okay, so the next thing, your car. And no, I do not recommend you drive your car off the cliff. But I do recommend that if you're going to get in your car, the first thing you pay for is insurance. Before you put gas in your car, put insurance on your car. Too many people in this country go completely broke by not having insurance on their car. And now, lucky us, we get to pay for the uninsured people in our insurance. I get a little cranky about that, but at the same time, make sure you put your insurance on. And then clothing. Okay, this one actually makes me laugh a little bit because I have a really, really close friend. This is what I told her. And I said the only reason she needed to buy clothing was if she lost a ton of weight. So what'd she do? She turned around and lost a ton of weight so she could get a new wardrobe. Oh my. Okay. Lose some weight because you want to be healthy, not because you want a new wardrobe. Okay? Yes, she did. True story. She actually did that to me. Okay. So questions on 1, 2, 3, and 4? Pretty simple, right? And reasonable clothing, I mean, I've actually seen kids at the bus stop without a coat on in the wintertime, like their parents forgot that northern Utah gets cold. I know teenagers are a pain in the neck, but little kids, they like to be warm. So reasonable clothing. Kids grow. Don't forget, kids grow. Okay. All right. Sorry, it's kind of dim. I thought orange would work good, but it didn't. So food, housing, transportation, reasonable clothing, and then everything else on the list in there is in your order of importance. What is the number one thing on there that everybody pays and nobody, and I told you not to do it yet? Anybody got any ideas? Nobody knows? Is everybody a debit card user in this room? I don't really like debit cards either, by the way. But you don't see credit card payments on this list. Why do you think that is?
Pay it out.
I'm sorry?
Pay it out.
Yeah, paying off is good, but if it's a part of your budget, why isn't it on this list? She was listening. We shouldn't be using them unless we have cash in the bank to use them, number one. But a credit card payment never comes before your necessities. I don't care how much you owe in the credit card. I don't like Visa. I believe that if you use the money, you should pay them back. I am a believer that you should pay back what you borrowed, but I want you to take care of you first. Visa makes lots of money. They have the biggest budget in the world. They're the most wealthy company in the entire world. So if you don't make a payment, yes, they'll ding you, yes, they'll play with you with your credit score and late fees and all of that, but they can't stop you from eating, feeding your family, housing your family, and getting yourself to work. They just can't do that. So they are not the most important payment. They'll tell you different, but they are not, okay? So debt payments are not in the top 5. Best way to get out of debt, stop borrowing money. I have another friend, she's like, how do I get out of debt? And I'm like, Cammy, hand over your credit cards. Give them to me. I'll put them in an envelope, I'll give them back when you can behave. That's exactly what, she laughed at me too. But same thing, right? If we want to get out of debt, the easiest way is to just stop borrowing money. That is the easiest way. But it's also the hardest way because we've been trained by Visa to borrow money. So we have to undo that training. So every time, and I gave you little things, these, to remind you to stop swiping, okay? If you use your credit card, and I use mine, I've got a couple because I've got a couple businesses and I have to buy things online and I travel and all of that. If I'm going to swipe, believe it or else, the next day I pay it off. I don't wait until the statement comes. I pay it off the next day. Now, anybody in here worried about their credit score? You want to know a trick? I've figured it out. I have been playing with the credit score for about 3.5 years now because somebody challenged me on the credit score. They're like, oh, it's going to hurt my credit score. Guess what? if your statement prints, the day your statement prints, and it's a negative $5, you've overpaid by 50 cents to $5, what happens to your credit score? It shoots up. I've been playing with this. I know exactly what destroys your credit score and what doesn't. So, if you overpay on the statement, it shows a negative balance, which means you paid off your debt, a negative balance of 50 cents to $5, by definition, your score will go up 20 to 30 points. It's incredible. So a year and a half ago, I tried one of those 180 days, same as cash loans, so I could put in a new window in my house, just to see what would happen. They said, oh, it can't hurt your credit score. I went from 850 to 780 in 1 month by 180 days, same as cash. Just like that. And I'm like, okay, none of my other behaviors changed. So any of those same as cash loans, Synchrony Bank, Care Credit, any of those type of loans will tank your credit score. But paying off your credit card by just a few dollars. So we talk about paying it off every month, but what I want is when your credit card statement posts, that's when I want it to be at 0. And your credit score will skyrocket. Good information, right? At my expense. Okay, credit cards instead of debit cards. Debit cards came out in the late 1980s. I know I was working at a bank when it happened. With this whole idea, it's your cash, you're not going into debt. Okay, this is why I don't like swiping. Any of you go to the grocery store with your debit card? And you have this perfect list, and if you would have taken your envelope, hang on, I have an envelope for it, labeled groceries, and you get up to the cash register, and in your envelope you had $100. Has this ever happened to you guys? You walk in, you had $100 for your list that should have cost you $100 or less, and you get to the cash register, and she rings it up, and she says, cha-ching, cha-ching, that's $135.22. And you say, debit card, list, $100. Dang, I'll just swipe and deal with it later. What just happened?
You overspent.
By 35%. 35.22% to be exact. 35%. You want, people say, oh, you can't get 15% return on investment. 35%. Hello, here, dangerous place. This is a debit card. It came out of your cash. If you are creating your budget, all of your income minus all of the things you want to spend your money on, and I get you to 0 and you just overspent $35, what do you have to do with your budget? You better go home, dig it out, and find out who's not getting $35.22 because you just busted your budget. And this is why people stop using their cash flow plan, is because they bust their budget, just like that at the grocery store. So if you're going to the grocery store, no swiping, take your paper money. If you think it's going to be $135.22, take some extra money with you and make sure it's in your budget, okay? It's easy, but it's not. It's scary. It's new stuff. I understand. I get it. The bad credit score thing, we just talked about it. If somebody starts threatening you because they think they're going to trash your credit score, they are violating, this is the only law I'm going to teach you. It's called the Fair Credit Collection Act. It's called extortion, which is punishable by jail time. Not paying your debt is not punishable by jail time. Extortion is. So next time somebody threatens you with your credit score, just remind them, that's extortion. I'll go get my attorney right now. You're in violation of the Fair Credit Collection Act. Do you want to go to jail? They'll hang up the phone 100% of the time because they know you're right. But suddenly you know your rights on something. Does this give you some empowerment on what can happen? Absolutely. All right. What am I on? I do want you to pay your, I did tell you, if you borrowed money, I want you to pay your debts. I just don't want them to rule you anymore. All right, next. This is the challenge. You have 3 lines. On the no swiping idea, I want you to pick 3 categories you don't want to swipe on in the month of September. I could say forever and ever and ever, amen, but what I'd like you to just do is focus on September. Where am I not going to swipe anymore, and where am I going to go to my paper money Oh, we're going to make it. smiles at me all the time. She giggles.
I think you're right.
She thinks I'm right. Oh my goodness. Okay, some of you might have to think about it. Does anybody want to volunteer, like, one of the places they might be over swiping and want to quit swiping? Yes, ma'am.
Costco.
Oh yeah, Costco. Phew. I gave my niece my card, and I don't ever go there, but that's a great one. Absolutely, Costco. Anybody else?
Marissa's.
Oh yes, clothing. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry.
Drink.
Oh, drinks like Fizz and Swig.
Yeah, or energy drink.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. I refuse to participate. I've never been to a Fizz or a Swig ever.
And you live here?
And I live here. Yes, right here in St. George. Drive by them all the time. Starbucks gets some of my money, but Fizz and Swig, no. Anybody else? I saw a hand in the back.
Amazon.
Oh yeah, Amazon. Amazon's difficult with paper money, by the way. So if you're going to drink my Kool-Aid, by the way, there's this really cool thing you can do, and we do it because we are so adamant about using paper money where you swipe. If there's a place where absolutely cannot, must use credit card or don't want to use credit card, you can go to Walmart. It's the only time I go in Walmart, by the way, because it's as dangerous as Costco. You can go to Walmart and you can get a Visa gift card for up to $500. It costs you $4.95, and it gives you an expiration date, a CVC number, and a credit card number. So if you want to control yourself in places where you absolutely do have to swipe, Amazon, stuff like that, get yourself a gift card and make sure that gift card is the amount that you've budgeted for the month. You can't get more money on them, by the way. You have to pay the $5 every month, but to me it's worth it. So if I'm doing something online, I don't want to do my credit cards, by the way. I'm a hack magnet. If you get a hold of my credit card, if I put it on a counter anyway, someone will hack it. I get it all the time. It drives me crazy. But it's a great way not to be hacked. It's a great way to keep yourself in control of what you want to do with your money. So, great. Anybody else want to share? Can we continue on?
Wouldn't a good plan be, instead of spending with like a credit or debit card on Amazon, you can just get a gift card with a set amount? That way you don't overspend that set amount.
Right, exactly. That was kind of the same thing. Get the amount that you want to spend there. Perfect. Okay, great. We talked about this a little bit. 15 to 30% more every single time you swipe. So just be careful. All right. So John Maxwell, one of my favorite motivational speakers, he says you have, there's 4 different types of people in the world. And so number 1 is, are you a cop-out? Yeah, I'm not going to do that. She's crazy. Waste of my hour. I'm sorry. I get it. We're not all wired the same way. That's fine. I'm not mad at you. But are you a holdout? That's where we're looking over our neighbor's shoulder and we're saying, are they going to do it? If they do it, I'll do it. Is my buddy going to do it? Maybe. Okay. Or drop out. We tried it and didn't work. If you drop out, drop back in again. Keep working on this. It's just like going to the gym. Keep working on it. It's worth it. Okay? Or an all out. And I've seen people like this. Dave Ramsey. Have you guys ever heard of Dave Ramsey? He says in finance, if you do it so aggressively, and he talks about selling stuff. Sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. That's an all out. You know, we're doing this. Hey, Adrian, at the top of the steps in Philly. Okay? So whatever it takes, these are just the simple steps to get you from where you are today to doing that much better with your finances. And these are the tools that we used. So, and now it's Monday, we can take over the world. Okay, questions, comments, giggles?
So does PayPal and Venmo get the same percentage as Visa? They're all the same.
I think Venmo, I don't use Venmo. I think Venmo transfers dollar for dollars. Anybody know Venmo? They do?
It doesn't, if you do instant, it's not dollar for dollar, they take a percentage. If you do 3 to 5 day transfer, it's dollar for dollar.
Okay. And I think there is friends and family with PayPal, and I think if you pay your friend and family and they use that money to pay for something within PayPal, there's no fees, but if they take the money out, there are fees. Anybody do international money at all? If you do international money, have you used Wise?
I do.
It's the cheapest one. It's phenomenal. So I only know that because I have money in England.
Revolut they have like pretty good prices too.
Who's that?
Revolut.
Okay.
It's in like European too, so they have like it's a Switzerland bank. Pretty good.
Cool. Yes, so any other questions? You guys have been amazing. Thank you. I'm here. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow is the managers. If you want me to say something special to the managers or do something special with the managers, you know, the managers, then just let me know. I'll stick around here for a few more minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.